I think the most intimidating part of learning anything new is just starting. But thankfully, with the help of Skillshare sponsoring this quick and easy blending tutorial, maybe I can help make that first step easier. So I have some art pieces here, and the biggest reason I pulled these exact ones is because I've gotten a lot of comments about specifically the blending on these art pieces, so I'm hoping I can show you all effectively how I get these blends with my alcohol markers. Let's start with a simple 2-color blend, dark blue to light blue. For a simple blend, I do 2 colors. Easiest way to achieve a blend, in my opinion, is going from dark to light, like so. So like I said, I have a light blue and a dark blue here, and with my alcohol brush marker, I flick the brush in the direction I need, and tip 1 is I try to work efficiently so that not too much time passes before I add in my second lighter color. Because if I let my first color sit too long, it dries and then it sometimes gets a little more difficult to achieve a smooth, flawless blend like this. And there you have a basic blend of 2 colors. Tip 2 is it's easier to blend colors with a brush marker. It doesn't mean chisel nib is impossible, it just takes a little more work. But let me show you how I do it anyway. The great thing about chisel nibs is they are so full and juicy with ink, and that's the trick to blending with them, and any alcohol marker really. Once you add your first color, just bring in your second like so, and feel free to sort of drag your lighter color right over the darker color to just really get that seamless blend that you're looking for. And there we go. And so this one was actually pretty flawless. The blend was really smooth, and it's very subtle. I basically went from a coral red up here to an apricot pink down here. For the next example, I'll be using the bullet nib. In my opinion, the hardest to blend are bullet nibs, unless you're working in a very small area where a chisel or brush nib wouldn't fit. So here I am working in a smaller area, and the blend is good because the amount of space to fill isn't a lot, which is the point of bullet nibs. So I'm going from a sky blue to a more subtle blue-gray. And that's it. So an example of this is in the eye, is where I would use the bullet nib to create these much smaller blends. And you can see I've used dark and light blues, working in this to make it glittery. And then added gel pen highlights to make it really pop. Tip 3, you might realize I'm working with colors of the same color family. So a dark blue into a light blue, or even a dark red into a light red, a saturated blue into a muted gray. These are just colors to make your blends easier, because the transition points are smooth and not muddy. And so really, just know that if you're new to this, the hardest part of it is accepting that your blends might not look flawless or smooth in the beginning, and that's fine. Nobody wakes up and decides they want to try something new like painting and then becomes Da Vinci in the same day. Not even Da Vinci. But with the help of Skillshare, I've actually been taking some of their alcohol marker classes, and it's been really helping along the way. Even though you all know I've been working with markers for several years now, it's always good to learn more with your craft. Especially with summer here, with school breaks and just slower schedules in general, I'm finding more time to explore more of my traditional art passions, so learning this summer has kind of become part of my summer bucket list. I'm currently taking Gabrielle Bricky's class on Design a Female Character, Exploring Copic Markers, and while I don't really work with the Copic brand specifically, I do find many of the methods she teaches in her classes are easily transferable to any alcohol marker brand. But basically, Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives, illustration, design, freelance, and so much more. So this summer, go ahead and invest in yourself and your art goals by starting your own learning journey on Skillshare to finally take you to the next level. And the really cool thing is the first 500 people to use my link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so check them out. Now let's get back to blending. Tip 4, choose a blending method. There are several, such as the flicking motion that I showed here, and then there's also tip-to-tip method, which I really like to get a nice in-between sort of color with whatever 2 colors I'm trying to blend. In this case, I'm using a very dark aubergine and a pretty light amethyst. Again, same color family though. But the colors don't permanently mess up the nibs between the two, not in the way that regular water-based markers do, because once you use tip-to-tip and then color on your page to get that transition, the color comes out and then returns back to its original color. And so again, we have that really nice transition from this dark aubergine to this slightly lighter amethyst, and you can't even see the transition point. And the thing to remember is that alcohol markers blend easily. Even just laying one color down and placing another on top is an effective blending method. It's not an incredibly smooth one, but a subtle blend still happens just like that. So you can definitely see a transition here. As you can see, I stopped about here, with my absinthe green color, and then went in with my leaf green color. But there's still no denying that there is a subtle blend between the two colors regardless. So that's just something I wanted to point out. And really, that's basically as basic as it gets without getting too overwhelming on other blending things, such as blending 3 or 4 colors together or blending complementary colors, where mixing the two can cause a muddy color in between since complementary colors cancel each other out. But if you want me to go further into how to blend markers, let me know, and I'll see about making a part 2.